Hey, welcome. Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea that all behavior, and I mean all of it, is a form of communication. We're going to break down what that really means and how this one little shift in how you see things can completely change how we support students. Let's get right into it. This one sentence right here is pretty much the foundation for everything we're about to cover. For so long, the whole approach to challenging behavior has been about control, about compliance, about winning some kind of power struggle. This quote asks us to just throw that whole idea out, right? If it's not about winning, then what are we actually trying to do here? Well, the goal is to teach students safer, more effective ways to get their needs met. It's about building skills, not just putting a stop to a behavior. And to get there, we have to start with a pretty fundamental change in how we think about what's happening right in front of us. So here's the absolute core of it. Behavior fills the gap. When a student doesn't have the skills for, say, emotional regulation, or for communicating what they need, or even just processing their environment, a behavior pops up to communicate for them. It's not really a choice to be defiant. It's a signal that they've just hit their limit. And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. We're moving away from seeing a student's actions as some kind of personal attack on us or that they're trying to manipulate us, and we start seeing it for what it is. It's a form of communication, often a desperate one, from someone who feels overwhelmed and just doesn't have the skills to handle it any other way. Okay, now this is where things get really interesting. For a lot of people, this is a total game changer. These escalations, these blow-ups, they're almost never random. They follow a super predictable pattern, and it's called the acting out cycle. And I promise, once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it. It's like having a roadmap to de-escalation. Okay, so here it is. The cycle moves from a state of calm, gets hit by a trigger, then goes into agitation and acceleration before it hits that peak. After that, it moves into de-escalation and finally recovery. Now, what's the big takeaway here? It's that if we can spot the signs and step in early during that agitation or acceleration phase, we can often stop the situation from ever hitting that peak. Which brings us to what is maybe the most powerful strategy of all, prevention. Seriously, the best way to manage a crisis is to stop it from ever getting started in the first place. This is all about being proactive. And a lot of these things are actually pretty simple, right? A visual schedule can cut down on anxiety about what's coming next. A simple 5-minute warning can make transitions way smoother. Offering a little choice, like do you want to use a pen or a pencil, can give back a sense of control. Even just changing the environment, like offering headphones to block out noise, can stop a trigger in its track. But, let's be real, we can't prevent everything. So what do you do when you see those first signs that a student is starting to escalate? This is your critical window. You might notice a student is fidgeting, or maybe they're shutting down, or they just seem off. This is not the time to add more pressure. We do the opposite. We reduce the demands, we might offer some quiet support just by being near, we validate their feelings by saying something like, hey, I can see this is frustrating, and we give them a way out, like offering a short break. As things start to ramp up, our own instincts can sometimes betray us. The things on this slide, they're guaranteed to make everything worse. Correcting someone in public creates shame. Getting into a power struggle just invites a fight. And demanding a student talk to me in front of their friends is a recipe for an explosion. This is the moment for calm, quiet, private redirection. Okay, this is so important to get. If a student reaches the peak phase of that cycle, their thinking brain, their rational brain, is completely offline. They are in a pure fight or flight state. Trying to reason with them, lecture them, or teach a lesson in that moment is totally useless. It will only make the crisis last longer. So, your priorities, they shift completely. Number 1, keep everyone safe. That's it. Number 2, follow whatever crisis plan is in place. And number 3, use as few words as possible. Your calm, neutral presence is way more powerful than anything you could possibly say. After the storm passes and things calm down, that's when the most important work can actually begin. The recovery phase isn't about punishment, it's where the real learning and the long-term change happens. So once everyone is calm, you can have this brief, private chat that's all about problem solving. We figure out, hey, what was the trigger here? What's something the student could try next time? And, just as important, what can we as the adults do differently to support them? And then crucially, We talk about how to repair any harm that was done. That's how we build real accountability. So let's zoom out a little bit. How do we go from just managing these single incidents to actually building lasting skills so these cycles don't keep repeating over and over? This right here is one of the most fundamental rules in behavior support. It's called the fair pair rule. You can't just tell a student, hey, stop doing that. It doesn't work. You have to give them something else to do instead, a safer, better way to communicate what they need. We have to teach them how to ask for a break instead of throwing a book. And to find that perfect replacement behavior, you have to know why the original behavior is happening in the first place. You've got to know its function. A super easy way to remember the four main functions is this acronym, EATS. First up, E is for escape. This is when the student is trying to get out of something, a task, a place, an interaction with someone. Next up, A is for attention. The student is looking for a reaction from anyone, really. Adults, other kids. And listen, this is a big one. Negative attention is still attention, which is why sometimes yelling or getting upset can actually backfire and make the behavior happen more often. T stands for tangible. This one's pretty straightforward. The student wants a specific thing, an object, a toy, access to an activity. And finally, S is for sensory. This means the behavior is happening because the student is either trying to get more sensory input, like rocking or humming, or they're trying to avoid sensory input, like covering their ears in a loud room. It's all about regulating their own body. And really, this brings us full circle, doesn't it? This work is so much bigger than just getting through a tough moment or a hard day. When we respond calmly, when we're proactive, and when we focus on teaching, we're building core life skills, skills in regulation, communication, and problem solving that they're going to use forever. So, I'll leave you with this to think about. Whether it's with a student, a coworker, maybe even your own child, what is one behavior you've seen before as just defiance that maybe tomorrow you can try to see as communication? What need might that person be trying to tell you? Thanks for watching.